That stung.
Yeah.
That stung a lot.
Halfway down the bottle, I'm working with a Borgo de Marcelliana.
I don't know what I'm drinking. Some Pinot Noir that I bought for Kristen's parents and they didn't drink. So
Southern Italy. Southern Italy, here we come. Nice top off.
I will say, as much as we'll say that stung, I got the feeling back. Man, that game gave me the feeling that Syracuse basketball used to give me just a couple years ago.
Yeah, let's before we get started, let's do a little cheers to being burnt by a loss in the best way possible.
That hurt though. It hurt.
You're watching Domed in Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe.
And Syracuse loses 78-74 to the Houston Cougars in our first players era game of the tournament. I think as we both sit back here and look out at this game, I think right now we both feel pretty raw about how that game went. And I think if we recorded this tomorrow morning, we would be just absolutely hyped by this result and the effort from the boys. So it is definitely a little bittersweet in the moment. A lot of the things that we wanted to see, we did see. Obviously, we were missing Donnie, which is a huge piece of this. But overall, I would say we're pumped. We're devastated, but we're pumped at the same time. Is that the right way to describe it?
I don't know that I expected to watch us have a shot at the buzzer to win the game tonight.
Well, so before we get into that, then we should do our 30-second recap of the game. I think you should do it. I think you should go ahead and try to take the 30 seconds.
This is a tough one because it's very fresh. We'll rip a quick 30-second recap here, but Syracuse Houston starts of the game. Honestly, Cuse came out hot. We jumped out to a quick 9-point lead early in the game. We were really aggressive defensively. Like, honestly, had a rebounding edge on them early in the game, which was really impressive. Both first, second unit really contributed. Then Houston clawed their way back. They ended up having a 3-point lead at halftime. And from there, honestly, it was a back and forth game in the second half. Houston ended up getting up to about an 11-point lead with about 5-6 minutes to go. Cuse makes a wild comeback, honestly, starting about the 3.5-minute mark, ties it up, has a chance at the buzzer to send the game or to win the game, actually, tied at 67 to win the game. They don't really get a shot off. William Kyle gets blocked at the rim. We end up losing by 4 in overtime.
All right. I mean, speaking of buzzer, I could have buzzed you 30 seconds ago. You're a minute over, but you were doing such a good job on the recap. I kind of had to let you go because I was enthralled in the recap. But we're gonna have to do a little post edit of a buzzer sound because you were.
I'm gonna have to work on this, brother. That was way too fresh of a game. Like, I'm like replaying it in my head as we go, and like the wound is still wide open.
To be honest, your first half was tight. Your first half was perfect. You know, Syracuse got up big, and then you kind of stretched it out there in the second half, talking about like runs
honestly,
and stuff.
I kind of realized I had a lot to go, and I didn't want to cut the second half short. You know, it's a lot happened.
Listen, it was a good recap. It was a good recap. I'll give you that. But let's start there. Let's start with the start of the game. I think that the way we came out in this game, I think the number one thing we both wanted to see to start this game was like we wanted to make sure our guys didn't look scared out there, right? I think that was our number one thing. We knew coming in Houston, obviously they went to the championship game last year. You know, they bring back a decent amount of that team, at least Sharp and, you know, Tugler. And they bring back, you know, some big physical players, and they, you know, even their freshman Senak, he's a big physical guy. They're physical. You could even see in the first few screens that like Tugler was setting, he's throwing elbows at guys. Like he's mobbing on Kyle all he can. So for them to come out the way they did and not back down from a very physical Houston team and be just as physical, if not more so, in the first part of that first half, I think that was like the first thing I looked at and was like, okay, we got something here.
1,000%. Dude, we came out with the energy required to match Houston. Like, you cannot come out flat against this team or they will bury you right off the jump. And we answered their physicality and effort. Like, we were flying around, frankly, even better than they were the first 7-8 minutes of the game. It was the best defensive effort I've seen in Syracuse in probably a decade, to be honest. We have just simply not looked like that in a very, very long time. And yeah, I was impressed, man. We really did. We came out just in a way that I was really, really hoping we would come out. And we talked about Monmouth, we were flat. I think Red used that performance to really get the boys ready and just we came out with the energy tonight. We were the better team the first 10 minutes of this game. 100%.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. We get up. What is it? We're up almost 10 points, maybe 11 points at one point in that first half. And, Cayenne misses a ton of threes to start the game. I think he's like 0 for 4 when we're up 11. We've missed a ton of free throws at this point. And in my opinion, the critical stretch where we end up, I think, really losing control of this game and what ended up causing the loss was us being up about 11 with 10-ish minutes left in the game, and then somehow Houston closing the gap to make it a 3-point lead for Houston at half. And that kind of swing where we really let Houston back into the game was kind of that was the game right there, in my opinion, because I think if we were able to step on Houston's throat a little bit more, or at least keep some semblance of a lead, we would have been able to hold on in that second half, because the boys did a really good job a lot in the second half of fighting back and, answering Houston runs with their own. But kind of in that end of that first half, letting a lead slip away and ending it as a deficit, that's just a tough way for that to go, in my opinion.
It hurt, and honestly, credit to Houston. They hit shots in that first half. Like, they made shots. They ended it 11 of 27 from three, but they were well over 50% for the majority of this game. I think they were 60% at halftime. I think it was like they made shots, and frankly, like they kept themselves in the game. They obviously kind of came back, took the lead. But I will say, and we'll get into it in the second half, the resolve, even at that point, that the guys showed to just steady the ship, keep themselves in the game, just really, really strong. And I think particularly early in the first half, too, just overall the defensive effort was just, I'll harp on it all day long. I just have not seen Syracuse play this way in a long time. And like the bigs are a huge part of that, right? I mean, William Kyle, good Lord. I mean, does anybody in the country play harder than this guy right now? Seriously, like it's not just the no layups, which is awesome because he's just dunking on everybody's head. But the guy plays. He was the hardest playing guy on that floor against Houston tonight. Like he was the best big guy in that game. He was, and it just
he took abuse too. He got fouled 100 times over in this game, and he just kept fighting through it. And I give him a lot of credit. I think as you're saying, I think a lot of our big men in the past would have wilted in a game like this. They wouldn't have been ready for the physicality. They wouldn't have wanted the physicality. Whereas it seems like Kyle just embraces that. So we'll continue to get into the players. We'll go through the players after, but let's kind of finish recapping the game here as we get to the second half. Really free throws start to become an issue. I think we did a really good job of getting downhill and attacking the rim. But let's just go through a few of the guys real quick. JJ Starling 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Tyler Betsy 2 for 4 from the free throw line. Kyan Anthony 4 for 9 from the free throw line. You just can't have that, right? Like William Kyle shoots 4 for 9 from the free throw line. Whatever. I'm good with that. He got 9 attempts. He put pressure on their defense. He had 12 points. He played great. I'm not even counting him in our missed free throws. But you look at all those other guys, Kyan, Betsy, JJ, all shooting under 50% or under from the free throw line. It's just not good enough. And, you come down the end of a game where you claw your way back from down 11 to end up with a chance to win the game at the end. And you think you go to overtime and you look back, you shot 41% from the free throw line. That's where you lost the game.
It is where you lost the game. It's very simple. You can't do that. You just can't do that. We should have won this game. We outplayed them. We really did, and leave it to Syracuse to have two guys with the yips at the free throw line at the same time. And like you said, like, I don't blame William Kyle at all. He's a big guy. Honestly, he shot better than he shot the last couple of years. Like, I think he shot in the 30 percentile range the last couple of years. He's shooting above his average. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on with JJ at the free throw line.
Or Cayenne.
We'll get to Cayenne is a freshman. He'll figure it out hopefully, but I mean JJ is like, there is a Markelle Fultz hitch in that free throw right now,
and he's not close. Like, at least Cayenne was 4 for 9. JJ's over 3. I mean,
it's ugly. So like, we got to figure this out. I mean, it's one thing to be a bad free throw shooting team, right, and to shoot the 60s, right? You can't shoot 40% from the free throw line and get to the line this often. It's just crazy. And it's our
especially with our athletes, right? Because that's kind of our plus advantage, is getting to the hoop. JJ's biggest advantage is he's an athlete. He's going to get to the hoop. He's going to get people are going to start fouling him. They're going to hack at JJ.
I mean, we talked about it a week ago. We felt Donnie's loss in the free throw shooting tonight. I mean, like, he's our one good free throw shooter, and he's a power forward, right? Like, he's the one guy you see 7 for 9, 7 for 10, 8 for 10 every time he plays. Like, look at everybody, all of our guards, besides pretty much Nate Kings, who's just not getting there that much. Like, none of our guards shot above 50%. It's wild. It simply can't happen. And I don't even really blame. It's not. I don't know what you want people to do. Like, you can scream all you want. You can yell at the coaches.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that, because like, you're kind of tiptoeing on it, but let's talk about it. A lot of people that we're seeing, group chats, X comments, we're blaming Red for free throws. Grow up. You're a D1 basketball player. You go practice your own goddamn free throws. You make your own goddamn free throws. And you know who's going to be the first person to tell you that? Cayenne Anthony, who said it after his own game where he missed them the last time. He said, I didn't shoot well enough from the free throw line. I'm going to go practice and make 100 in the gym. Like, that's the right attitude. And so I hope Cayenne fixes it. But again, like, I'm not going to sit here and criticize Red. I'm not going to sit here and criticize the coaching staff when they came out with a game plan without their number one scorer. They executed the game plan to a T. It worked out perfectly. They had a shot to win the game against the number 3 team in the nation. We cannot be sitting here criticizing the coaching for missing free throws. That's on the players. The players have to make free throws, and it's on them to fix whatever the hell's going on with the free throws. They got to start practicing and making their own free throws. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, I just, there's no other way to put it. Like, I mean, if Red can have them practice, I'm sure if you don't think Red is practicing free throws at this point or having them practice, you're crazy. At a certain point, the guy's got to make shots. You got to make shots. You got to make free throws. It obviously was a brutal watch tonight. And it got to the point where clearly it was in everybody's head. I don't want this to just turn into a thing where we're just harping on this every week, but I don't know, man. We gotta make them. We gotta make them, and it's. But I agree, dude. It's to criticize, to end up putting this at, like, what is Red supposed to do from the sideline when guys are missing free throws? Like,
can't shoot them for them.
You can't shoot them for them.
So anyway, we get to the second half, right? And it feels like it's getting out of touch, right? And I think for a moment there, it was about the 7-minute mark. We're down, I think 5, and we get on a phone call and we're like, I would love to see us close this game and keep it tight, right? Like, let's not end up losing this game by 15, so that when you look back on it and it's coming down to resumes in March, you're like, oh, well, Q's lost to Houston by 15. Let's make it close so that it looks like a good loss, which I think it was all the way up until that moment. All of a sudden, it gets to 11. And I think a lot of times in our past, especially in the early Red years, that 11 becomes 15 or 20 by the end of the game. And that did not happen. The boys stayed engaged. The boys stayed tight. And they really fought really, really hard at the end of the game to get us back into this game and get us to a chance to win the game with one shot at the end, right? And that's where I think if you had told us before this game, you have one shot to beat Houston at the end of the game, I think we both would have shaken your hand and taken it.
A million times over, man, a million times over. With the late Donnie scratch too, yeah, dude, it's just a tough loss. It obviously is a tough loss. So I don't know. It's tough for me to harp on a lot of the things. Like you said, we got down 11, and do you remember? I mean, you remember 2 years ago, Red's first year at Syracuse. I'm pretty sure we lost like every game that we lost by like 15 plus points. Do you remember that? And we were we were angry about why we weren't on the bubble, and it's like because our metrics are horrible. Every time we lose, we get destroyed, and
Right.
that was about to happen tonight. And then all of a sudden, we're on an 11-0 run to like close the game and have a shot to win at the end, and like it felt different tonight. If we can't just enjoy that as a fan base, we all got to just like chill
Chill
out.
out. Chill
We
the
got
fuck
to
out.
chill
Yeah.
out because like this was a fun game. It should have given you that feeling again because we were playing with the best of the best in the country tonight, and we should have won the game. We should
So
have
there
won.
wasn't a lot frustrating. The free throws were frustrating. One thing that was frustrating to me at the end of the game was it didn't really seem like anybody in the game wanted to take a shot. And I do think, coming probably into this season, that is the moment for Donnie. And I know we miss Donnie in a lot of areas, but at the end of the game where you need to just go get a bucket, that would have been a moment where you probably put Donnie in a screen and roll with Nate George. He gives it to Donnie early, and Donnie tries to like work in, back down, take some kind of post mid-range fadeaway jumper, which I think you live with at the end of the game to try to win it, right? And so I think that's probably where we really miss him, right? Because he's our kind of go-to scorer. So obviously having Donnie out there really sucked because it didn't really seem like anybody on the court wanted to take that last shot. I mean, JJ was hiding in the corner. Nate Kings wasn't really looking for the ball. Betsy got it, passed it right back to Nate George. Nate George kind of drove it and then kicked it into William Kyle, who, credit to him, he did try to shoot it, but he's surrounded by like 6 guys at that point. I mean, Houston's whole entire bench was on him at that point. Kelvin Sampson was almost out on the floor blocking it.
Yeah, honestly, I tried to call it out. I called it out with like a minute left. I was worried we had no timeouts, honestly, and like it was one of those things where it's like it just is what it is. Like we fought and clawed, and it's just a matter of fact of where we were in the game. We just didn't have any timeouts to slow it down and try and get a great look there. I'm with you, and as a point guard, and this is just a point of improvement for George. You got to get into something quicker there. Like, and if you're going to be the guy that's going to get the look, it can't be at 5-6 seconds. It's got to be a little bit earlier, and especially if you're maybe going to look to pass that ball, like it's just got to be a little bit earlier. We can't have a situation there where we've got 20 something seconds and we don't get a shot up on the rim. It's just that's deflating. And honestly, I think at that point, you kind of feel like maybe the game slips away in overtime when you don't get the shot up a little bit. But it is what it is. It's a bummer. We'll be better, hopefully, moving forward. But like you said, I would have traded the chance to be there.
Can I jump in here? You're gonna hate this take, and I know you hate this take already, but I would have loved to see Kyan in the game there to take the shot. That kid has no fear. He would take the shot. And I know, he can't be in the game. He can't do this. But like, if I had a timeout, I'm taking a timeout. I'm drawing up a play for him because at least he's going to put a shot up. And obviously, I think really the answer is it should be Donnie, right? And we just missed Donnie. But like the one thing that I'll say, and then I think we should go here now player by player. We lost touch in overtime, obviously.
Yeah, real quick, I don't disagree with you if you have a timeout. That's just the issue. Is like there was no timeout, and so like you had to have the lineup in the game that was defensive there to get the stop first. So yeah, that's the answer. Is that you wish you had Donnie on the floor because that's you run an action with your best offensive player. Just simple as that.
But either way, I would have loved to see Kyan maybe get the last shot. But the reason I say that is because I give a lot of credit to our freshmen who did not look like deer in headlights. So I think we should start with, kind of going down the roster, going player by player. And the place I'd like to start is Sadiq, because obviously it's that moment to talk about not having Donnie in the game. So Donnie's a late scratch because of, it seems like a foot injury, right? And it seems like, I know Q Sports 44 tagged us on X saying it might have happened on this play. No idea when it happened, but it looks like it might have been the Monmouth game. No word on what the injury is. It's a little bit concerning that it could potentially be a re-aggravation of the one he had last year, which is the Jones fracture, and that's not great.
I'd put that in the not great category as well. I'm hopeful. I know we don't really want to speculate, but if it's that, obviously it's not good. So hopefully that's not the case. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to. Hopefully, there's not much sense dwelling on it. It sounds like we're not going to know for a week or two. That was the big takeaway, which is unfortunate. It sounds like he's missing all the players' era. we're gonna know back when he's back in Syracuse.
But let's not sugarcoat it. The idea that he's missing the entire Players Era tournament now already, and we're reevaluating once we come back to Syracuse, is already not a great sign for this being a short-term injury. So I think we are looking at something mid to long term, and hopefully it's just something a little more midterm. But we should be prepared as a fan base that it could be something a little bit longer term. And let's see how players step up. So the first player I think to talk about is Sadiq, right? Because Sadiq is going to be the guy who starts in that position. He's going to play a lot of minutes at the 4. Betsy, I think, is obviously going to, play a lot of minutes in that role as well, especially when he's making shots. But credit to Sadiq in a game where it was going to be physical and he was going to have to fight. Like, I think we said it 2 minutes in. He's not scared. He's looking to rebound. He's looking to attack guys. Like he's looking to be the guy making the contact, not taking the contact. That's awesome.
I agree, man. Guy put up a pretty loud 4 and 4, I'd say.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like I think he really, really helped set the tone for us early in the game. Him and Kyle just really answered Houston's athleticism early in that game in a way that we've absolutely needed to show just to answer that toughness to start off the game. And Sadiq was a huge part of that. I think the numbers weren't huge, and the playing time kind of dwindled a little bit in the second half as we kind of went with some other lineups to get us back in the game. But his athleticism pops whenever he's in the game. I wish we looked for him a little bit more as a roller and cutting on the baseline. But I just think this kid really, even in small sample sizes, you just see what he can bring to the floor from a defensive perspective. He's had a couple of things where he's got to stay on the floor, stop jumping at pump fakes, right? The refs also got to call travel, I will say.
Yeah, they got to call some travels, seriously.
But I love watching him play. He's the type of athlete we just got to have at Syracuse. We've got to have guys like him, and it's just going to continue to get better for him. He impacts the game when he's on the floor. There's no other really way to put it.
I mean, totally. Listen, he played 19 minutes tonight, which I think is a little low, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that we were chasing the game in the second half, right? And so when you're chasing the game in the second half, you need your scorers. And so obviously the way Betsy was shooting the ball, he was going to play those minutes. You kind of touched on this guy, so let's go to him next, William Kyle. The thing that I wanted to spotlight from him was we talked a little bit about it in our game recap at the beginning here, but the idea that he doesn't wilt, right? Like you were saying, like set the tone physically. Like you're going to go up against tough guys. Like Tugler is out here elbowing everybody. He's pushing everybody around. He's fouling Kyle 100 times over. But Kyle is matching that physicality. He's not backing down. He's getting to the hoop. He jammed on guys' head multiple times. Like, they're calling him out on the broadcast as he's a spark for Syracuse because he's dunking on guys. And goddamn, this is something we haven't had in a long time. And I so appreciate the way he plays because the way he plays is infectious. And that kind of toughness, I think when you have that toughness from your center, it like radiates through your lineup in basketball, right? Because like that's your big guy. That's the guy you look to. And when he's tough and he's physical and he's not backing down, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, we're all a little bit bigger because of him.
A million times over, dude. What a breath of fresh air we're getting from him at the center position. And it's the activity from the opening jump every night. I can't even describe how many times like our first offensive possession is resulting in a William Kyle offensive rebound or a tap out, like it's every game. It's every game. I feel like we're starting that way. This kid's been awesome. He's been awesome. I'm so team no layups with William Kyle too. I mean, he is just putting it on dudes' heads out there. I'm just really impressed. I don't think we could have hit a bigger home run with that in terms of a Portal 5 this year. Like credit to the staff and Alex Klein, like they found the perfect 5. They did.
They found a lot of really great guys, including this next guy, Nate Kings. So Nate Kings, I thought was excellent again tonight. He continues to be really, really solid all around. He played 36 minutes, had 10 points, 4 for 10 from the field, 6 rebounds, an assist, 1 turnover, 1 steal, pretty good. 1 for 7 from 3. And I'm going to continue to harp on this because I do believe it. Nate Kings is a great player. All the things that he does are so great. If he can make shots, if he's 3 for 7 tonight, if he's 4 for 7 tonight, he had looks. These weren't tough opportunities. He's 3 for 7, 4 for 7 tonight. We win this game. So like Nate Kings is the difference between us being like a low-end tournament team and us being a high-end tournament team. And what I mean by that is like a low-end tournament team is going to be on the bubble and potentially make the tournament. A high-end tournament team is going to be very safe and could potentially go like a couple rounds in the NCAA tournament. And it's going to really depend on, can that kid make some threes for us, because he is so good at everything else that he does on the floor that when he starts making threes, because I do think he's going to start making threes, it's going to change how this team looks.
I agree. He does need to make shots. He's got it 1 for 7. Like, if he does make a couple of those, and he did get some good looks.
There's a wide open corner three I'm thinking of where that's just got to go.
There was one, and then there was another one at the top of the key. Another one rattle in and out. Like, he's getting good shots. It's not like the ball's coming off his hand horribly either. He's got to make these. Like, they're. I trust that he will. But
yeah, he will.
Like, I think I was honestly impressed with him because I thought the beginning of the game, he looked a little on his back foot from the physicality the first 4 minutes or so. He came out and then came back in, and I thought he was much better from that point on. And I thought he was last kind of stretch of the game when we were making that comeback. I thought he was really, really good on the offensive end, and honestly on the defensive side too. He is a really good guard, on ball, off ball defender. Like, the guy is just always in the right spot. He moves his feet. He stays in front. He does not reach. Like, he is a valuable asset as a perimeter defender. It is so nice to have a group of like solid to plus defenders on the perimeter this year. It really is refreshing to have. But anyway, I know you're going.
And he had a couple of key defensive rebounds too in that stretch that really, helped us kind of come back in that game. So I totally agree. Like, again, like we have guys now on the end who are also, I think one thing is they're fleet of foot. They're able to stay in front of their guys. They're able to catch a guy off of a pick and roll. And so we move on to Nate George. Nate George in 38 minutes had 11 points. He was 4 for 13, 2 for 7 from 3. He had 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 turnovers. He was good. He was really good at points tonight, and he was really could have been better at other points tonight. So that's kind of how I feel. He's a little bit like he's good for stretches. He struggles for some stretches. We can't turn the ball over 6 times. I think there was a few times where he just dribbled himself into the corner and picked it up. And there's certain things we just can't be doing. But overall, I actually really thought he played a good game. There's just parts of his game that really need to improve. Does that make sense?
I mean, a million times over. Like, I thought he had a very up and down game. The 6 turnovers were bad. And I do think some of that is playing Houston. Like, this is a tough game to be a primary ball handler against. I will give him credit for that. Like, it's not an easy task against this Houston pressure. But like you said, there were some things that he was doing out there that he knows not to do. Like, there was one possession. He literally dribbled the ball up the court within the first 7 seconds. We had the ball just dribbled into the corner and picked his dribble up. It's like, not to do that in second. Man, like, you just got to stop that. But there was even a couple plays, though, even a couple of the turnovers I didn't think were his fault. There was an alley-oop to Kyle where I thought Kyle got shoved and should have been called. And you see when we start to click, he is conducting, and he is confident, and he's decisive. It's when he starts to get hesitant, and we're not getting into things, and we're kind of doing the sitting and staring thing, and like that's when we start to it just starts to not look great.
Agreed. We're gonna skip the last starter because we're gonna save him for the last because that's gonna be the longest discussion. We're gonna jump to the bench, and we're gonna start with our boy Tyler Betsy. Wow, what a game! I think this is everything we could have wanted from Betsy and more. I think this is what we were missing in our couple games without him. Drexel, Monmouth. I think like this kind of electric shooting off the bench. We really did go 8 deep. I mean, Bryce Seffer got into the game for a few minutes in this game, but it was like very, very limited minutes. And even Soare was, under 10 minutes tonight. So, we really went 7, 8 deep tonight. And I think a real big reason we were able to do that was because Betsy's shooting, and he was electric. He was, 16 points in 30 minutes. Made some big shots for us too. He had 4 rebounds. I'd like to see him have a little bit more motor on the defensive rebound and get in guys, but I thought overall his defense was pretty good as well. So all around, pretty great game from Tyler Betsy.
Betsy was awesome, man. He was stroking the ball early in the game, man. Like he's a really confident shooter. I know I was texting you like Betsy does remind me a little bit of Chris Joseph out there, just like how he moves around, like just the size. Like uh, I like his game a lot. He's a really confident shooter. And I thought he moves pretty well for a guy that size. Honestly, I think he moves his feet pretty well. Really impressed with him. I mean, I think like you said, I think we see what the rotation particularly is going to look like in a post Downey world too. If that's what it's going to look like, I think it's going to be 8, right? It's going to be Kyan and Betsy off the bench is your first 2 kind of guard wing, and then Suarez is going to be your 5, who, depending on what your foul situation is going to dictate how much he plays. He may play 5 to 10 minutes, may get up to 15 to 20, who knows? But I'm really encouraged. I mean, this kid is not afraid. That's him and Kyan coming off the bench. Like, you've got 2 kids that are just going to come in and shoot the ball, which is nice, And tonight he kept us in the game. We touched on it earlier. Nobody really made shots for us tonight. We didn't really make any shots outside of Tyler Benson. If we had one other guy make shots tonight, if it was Nate Kings, if it was Nate George, if it was JJ, if it was anybody,
even Kyan,
like anybody makes a few jumpers tonight, we win this game. But we didn't make it. Was just Tyler Betsy, really, and he kept us in the game. He obviously hit the huge shot with 57 seconds left to tie the game. I mean, look at the stones on that kid, right? Tyler Betsy, 57 seconds left, kind of transition opportunity, like top of the key. I mean, steps right into it, shoots it confidently. That's what you want. Like, this is
onions.
I mean, it's maybe your 9th, 10th man when you brought him in. That's pretty damn good against the number 3 team in the country, I have to say.
For sure. And I think one of the things that was exciting about that too is that Betsy and Anthony looked really good together. So I think that we were able to bring them in, and they really provided a lot of shooting for us.
I totally agree. No, I thought like they really settled too. I think the game a little bit with the second unit when they came in. It's really nice that you can go to that against teams who are bringing in their 7th, 8th, 9th guy. Like we've got dudes who can really play coming off the bench, put pressure on the defense. They're not just guys you put in the game who are just running an offense. They're guys who are threats to score, which is
I mean, the 2 of them scored 26 points off the bench, and those were our bench points in this game, right? So obviously, with Sadiq moving into the starting lineup and not having Donnie, you're going to look to the bench to score, right? And being able to get 26 in a game where Kyan didn't even really play that well offensively, right? He was 4 for 9 from the free throw line. He was over 5 from 3. He took really good shots, and I think he also didn't really force a ton of stuff. So, again, like just like with Nate Kings, he's not going to continue to miss shots at this clip, right? He's going to continue to hit shots. You know what I'm saying? And so like the fact that you already got 26 in a game where one of them played well, the other didn't, kind of shows you what we have coming off the bench, which is every given night, one of those 2 is going to hit shots probably.
100%, man. And I mean, look, we won the bench battle 26-7 tonight, right? Like, I know Houston's a little bit top heavy, but they played guys off their bench. It's not like they didn't play dudes. Like, Sacco played 19 minutes, McCarty played 8, but Harwell played another 24. Like, they're playing dudes. Like, we won that battle off the bench. It was one of the stories of the game tonight.
But how many college teams have guys who can come off the bench and score 20?
They don't. Dude.
We have 2.
That's with moving one of our solid bench players into the starting lineup. Like, it's fucking encouraging,
Yeah.
Like, we have a depth of talent where we are a threat 1 through 9,
1 through 9, right?
1 through 8, 1 through 9. Like, this is awesome.
I mean, incredible stuff. I thought from those guys off the bench. I know Kyan didn't shoot well, but I thought also the other thing is Kyan was really good defensively, and I'm not looking for Kyan to be a game changer defensively. But what I don't want to see from Kyan is like lapsed effort, bad effort on defense, missing guys, not following his guy, letting his guy get wide open, and there was really none of that tonight. I didn't look out on the floor and say, oh my God, what a glaring mistake by Kyan on defense. And the fact that there's none of that 5 games into his career as a freshman, that is very, very encouraging for me, because this is the kind of game where that can happen, where a team that's really physical and you have to guard your man, and everybody on Houston moves around. Everybody's running. Everybody's coming off screens. And I thought he did a really good job staying detailed, staying on his man as much as he could. And we know he's not ever going to be like the greatest defender, but again, not being a terrible defender is a huge win.
Totally. I agree.
So let's.
I think he was just solid, and I think the whole team was solid, and it's a bummer to lose.
So let's move to a guy who was excellent defensively, Suarez. Ibrahim, Akir, the man. As far as bigs go at Syracuse, this is the best 1-2-5 combination I think we've had in a really long time. I mean, maybe since the years we were there when we had Rock and Kita. Like since then, I don't know when you've had two guys who are interchangeable. Again, Suarez only played 9 minutes. He only had 1 rebound, 1 assist, but that doesn't tell you the impact he had on this game. He was everywhere. By the way, I love when my backup big uses their fouls. He had 4 fouls tonight, and he used them. He jumped on a guy's. He gave a guy on the shoulders. He jumped on the guy's shoulders. If you're gonna foul guys, foul them. And that's what Suarez did tonight. He took full control of his minutes. He put max effort into the 9 minutes he gave, and he put max effort into the 4 fouls he gave. So, I was really blown away. I know the numbers aren't big, but I was blown away, and I've been blown away with his effort early in the season, and it's really exciting to see.
I mean, it's just really nice to not have just a precipitous drop off when Syracuse goes to the backup center, right? He's providing solid minutes as a rotational big, and you're not feeling a drop off when he's in the game. Tons of energies, flying around on defense, covering ground. I honestly think there's a future here for him. Honestly, as a serious rotation player, not as a 5-10 minute guy, maybe 20-minute guy, 25-minute guy down the line. I'm impressed by him, and honestly, I think even a couple of his fouls were some cheap calls underneath on rebounding plays where it's a scrub underneath there. You could call fouls on anybody there.
He got punched in the face one time and got called for a foul. He seemed
to be on the wrong end of a couple of those calls. So, it is what it is. But I'm impressed by his effort. Really, really like what he's given us just as an MVP.
Bryce Effort came in, played 2 minutes, gave good defense, good emergency guard action. Good job, Bryce. Thank you for coming in and playing hard. Finally, it's JJ Starling. It's 31 minutes. It's 5 of 8 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 0 for 3 from the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, and a block. JJ. I want more. Am I selfish for saying I want more? When it comes to for example, Cayenne missing free throws, I'm okay, he's a freshman, whatever. There's no time left for development for JJ. It needs to be here now. It needs to be done now. And I didn't love his game tonight. And again, even in games where I don't love his game, there's a lot of flashes of brilliance. There's a lot of flashes of if you just did this the entire time, you'd be sick. And a lot of that is if you just drove the ball downhill and tried to dunk on dudes, you'd be great. So just do that, please.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with him right now. Honestly, not. The free throw situation is honestly almost getting sad at this point. There's clearly something going on there. I don't know if it's a physical thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing. It looks like a combination of both, maybe. Who knows? It's the yips for sure. So you've got that, which I don't know if that's factoring into why he doesn't want to drive the basketball right now. Maybe it is. Maybe that's part of it. I don't really know, but he looks a little lost out there. I thought we were gonna get a good JJ game tonight. He hit the 3 on the first possession. I thought we were gonna get in rhythm, and then he just kind of disappeared for a little while. I do think I'll get to his offense in full in a second. To criticism sandwich this a little bit. This was the best defensive game I've ever seen him play. It is the best defensive game I've ever seen him play. I thought he was honestly great defensively tonight. It was one of the best games I can't remember a better effort from him. I thought he was really good on the guards. I thought he was active. He got his hands in there. He blocked a shot or two. Like I did think he was very good defensively. That said, uh, he's got to figure out a way to be aggressive on offense. He can't take 8 shots, man. He can't do that. And I'm not sure what the answer is. I feel bad because obviously he's a senior. I want him so badly to do well. He's a local kid. He was a big recruit. He's a friend of Autry's family. Like there's a close bond there. Like I want this to work out. It just obviously has not been great here early, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure where we go right now. We got to figure out a way for him to be aggressive. That's the biggest thing. JJ's just got to be aggressive going to the rim because that's what he's good at. He's good at putting pressure on the defense. He's good at getting the lane and just get to the free throw line. But right now, the free throw thing, I think honestly, is maybe getting to him a little bit. I think it is. I think he's got the yips, and I don't think he really wants to drive to the basket.
All right. When it comes to JJ, I think we both agree we want him to do well. I think we both love the kid. I think as a kid, he's great. Like I think he's a great kid. I really root for him. But my biggest gripe is the 8 shots, and I get the defense was good tonight, and that's good. That's not nothing. I don't want to just skip over the defense like it's not nothing. He played really strong defense tonight. He was engaged the entire time, and if we get that JJ defensively for most of the year, I'm going to be very, very excited about it. But I came into this year thinking JJ was going to be a 20-point per game guy and kind of with Donnie lead the way in scoring. And in a game where Donnie gets ruled out, I can't have him shooting 8 shots. And he went 5 for 8, so he shot a good percentage. I just can't have him shooting 8 shots. And that's not on coaching. He's the kind of guy that you shouldn't need to scheme shots for. And I think like early in the game, he throws a lob to Sadiq that doesn't really work out. And then the next possession, he's 3-on-2 and he just kind of turns it over. And I think he ended up calling a timeout, so it wasn't a turnover, but he kind of just misdribbled the ball. And it's like, these are the moments we can't have from him. Like he just has to be, it has to be better right now from JJ. Especially without Donnie. If we're going to go into an extended period without Donnie, 11 points per game is not going to be enough from JJ. And, it's going to put pressure on other guys like Cayenne to have to score more, Sadiq to have to score more. But in a night where Kyle gave you 12, George gave you 11, Betsy gave you 16.
Yeah.
A couple of our guys make a few more shots and we're in this game, again. And then
guys
again,
in
I
double
don't
figures.
even want to be that down because here's the thing. Now that we're done going through the players, we just took Houston to overtime. We shot 43% from the field. We shot 26% from 3, and we shot 41% from the free throw line. That has nothing to do with defense. We missed shots tonight. We just missed shots tonight. And I think maybe being in a new place in Las Vegas and all that could have impacted it. But again, God damn it, I'm excited. And after all that, I know we ended on the JJ. We don't know what to do with JJ route. But, I mean, again, we went to overtime versus Houston, the number 3 team in the nation, and we looked like we belonged the entire game.
Totally, dude. The last point on the JJ thing, I do appreciate that. I think his leadership was strong tonight. I will say he came out tonight, like at least early in the game, that first 3-pointer, even this defensive effort, he looked locked in, and I think it did carry. I think it helps, right? He's the senior. He's one of the seniors on this team, but he's the guy who's banger, and I think that does matter, right? Like
Agreed.
he elevated his effort, particularly defensively tonight, and I think that did show across the team. So I do want to note that. But yeah, man, that's the takeaway, right? Like we were in this game. We had 6 guys in double figures. Syracuse, quite simply, Syracuse needed to make more shots tonight. We missed 16 free throws, right? 17 free throws. We missed 17 free throws. We missed 23 3-pointers. That's why you lost the game. That's simply why you lost the game. And you make a few more shots, and basketball's a make or miss game. The ball has to go in the hoop. It does. And Houston puts pressure on you, but those are free throws are free. Got to make them, and when you don't, They're empty possessions, right? And it just is what it is.
So before we wrap up, because we're gonna have a little wrap up session here, I want to end this segment with a quote from the group chat. This is from Johnny in the group chat. Free throws will get addressed. This team is athletic, fought hard, and took Houston to OT. This is going to be a fun year. And I wanted to end on that because I think that's a really good way to look at it. Like, yes, this was heartbreaking. Yes, a lot of things could have been done better. But let's remember, we're playing the number 3 team in the nation, and we looked every bit like we belonged in it.
100%, dude. And like that's the big takeaway, right? Like, am I gonna be the first one to say we're back? Because we're back.
Oh, we're back. Oh, we're back.
Like
we're
you
back.
watch that game. Watch it back. Watch the condensed game. I recommend everybody. I'll be we'll put out a film session over the Thanksgiving break on some of the
We'll do a mashup of all the games from the players era. We'll do
stuff. This was different, everybody. We did not look overwhelmed. This wasn't a fluky game. We didn't need Houston to shoot 15% to stay in this game. They made shots. They made shots in this game. We were right with them athletically. Like,
they shot 41% from 3 and 70% from the free throw lines. They shot much better than us. And I think the key to what you're saying is that, hey, they had that lead. The lead that we could not give up, the double-digit lead we could not give up, we gave it up, and the boys kept fighting.
They did. The resolve in this game, like, I was happy to be a Syracuse fan. You know, like, I'm grabbing Kristen out of the other room, like, to come watch the end. Like, I was just like,
I woke up Mace.
Yeah, like it was awesome. You know, it was like, goodness gracious, I can't believe we just did this. You know, like
I said, look, you could see him with Melo here.
Exactly.
I said you got to get up. It's a game, brother.
Totally. It's just like, you know, for the whole crew, for the whole Fire Reddit halftime crew, you know, like everybody calm down. You know, like just calm down. We're fighting hard. I honestly look. I don't know what the end game is, but this team is so much better than what we've seen the last couple of years. And you can see what we're trying to do. The offense, yeah, it's a work in progress. We've got to figure out an identity. That wasn't going to be something we found against Houston. You know, like nobody finds their offensive identity against Houston. So,
but I think our expectations for the tournament, right, were let's hope we play Houston hard and close. We did that.
The other thing too, dude, we scored 67 points on Houston in regulation. Like, I know that sounds like a goofy thing to be happy about. That's not nothing. That is not nothing. I watched us score like 35 points in an opener against UVA a handful of years ago. Like, we've been there before, you know? We could score on this team.
And we gave up 67 while they shot 41% from 3.
Scored 67 points and missed 15 fucking free throws, you know, and 20-something three-pointers. Like, we could have put up 80 on this team. That's what we got to be happy about.
So I think we should step away from this game. We should be very, very happy, and we should look forward to Kansas as a good opportunity to show out again. And again, we did all of this. Like let's not forget. Not only did we do all this, we did all this without our top scorer. Like, in a lot of moments in this game, I was thinking, I wish we had Donnie. Like, in that moment where they took it to 11, I was like, oh man, if we had Donnie and we could just go to Donnie in the post real quick, slow this game down, give it to Donnie, get us a chance. Oh, at the end of the game, could we give Donnie the ball and just have him score? Like, you know, we missed our top scorer tonight, and we really did miss him. And Donnie's a great player. He's probably an NBA player. Taking him out of this lineup and still competing with the number 3 team in the nation, that is a credit. Not only to all the players for stepping up and being ready, credit to Sadiq for being ready, credit to Soiree for being ready, but also that's a real credit to the coaching staff to have these guys prepared to play, to not be shell-shocked in a big moment without the guy who's been leading you in scoring.
100 times over, man. I think the staff did a good job. I think we're going to have some... This is why you bring in a deep roster, man. We've got options at the 4, right? We've got options to play different ways. I think we saw, like, not to say I ever want Donnie to be lost. We kind of need him, but we have guys who can fill in that spot, right? Like, we've got Sadiq, we've got Tyler Betsy. we're going to figure it out with guys at that position who are good. These are good players, right? We're not going to, I'm not even going to call guys out who've been here the last couple of years, but
But it's versatile, guys, too. I mean, there was a point in this game where I was really wishing I would have loved to see the Donnie, Sadiq, Betsy kind of three with, Nate Kings and Nate George or something along those lines to really kind of put our imprint on Houston a little bit, because they were playing three guards, and maybe if you have Donnie and Sadiq and Betsy, all of a sudden like they're looking at that like, uh-oh, like they got three big guys, all three big guys are kind of effective, like what do we do here? Like, so I just think that Donnie brings us a certain versatility that we lose, right, with some of those small ball lineups. Maybe getting Sadiq and Betsy in the game together with Donnie. Maybe even going, I think one of our best lineups so far this season was Donnie, Sadiq, Cayenne, Kings, George. I think that lineup could have been extremely effective tonight. And so again, these are things that Red had to do on the fly. He had to change up all of his combinations on the fly without a critical piece not being there. And I think he did a great job. So a lot of credit to Red and a lot of credit to the coaching staff. I want to make sure we come across, because we are going to be the first guys to criticize the coaching staff when things don't go right. But we also want to be the first guys to, support the coaching staff when they do a good job. And I thought tonight was a good job from the coaching staff.
I agree. I'm not sure what we were doing in the last 20 seconds tonight, but whatever. I'm over
We
that
tried.
right now.
We tried.
I'm over it right now. I agree. I think overall the staff did a good job getting the boys ready to play. Looking quickly ahead to Kansas, though, dude, if we can, just very quickly, my number one thing tomorrow against Kansas is we need to keep the exact same level of defensive intensity to start that game. Because if we can do that and build a lead and kind of get that team buried a little bit, I think there's an opportunity there. I know they beat Notre Dame. There's some matchup stuff with Notre Dame where just Notre Dame doesn't have a lot of athletic size inside, where Kansas was just able to kind of exploit that just over and over again. I really think we can really suffocate this Kansas team on the perimeter. Their guards are just nowhere near the caliber that we just played tonight. And
Sharp was incredible tonight.
Seriously, I mean their whole team. I mean Uzan was
incredible. He had 6 for 6 from the free throw line.
Every time they needed a big bucket, it was those two. I mean 26 apiece for those two. Like every time they needed a big one, it was just one of those two seniors. Man, that's what you get from two seniors who've been there for a while. But I think if we can keep that level of intensity, really pressure them on the perimeter, and just rely on Kyle to just be stout inside against Flory, I'm actually so confident, so comfortable in that one-on-one matchup. Like, he's going to go for 30, so be it. Dude, I don't think he is.
He's not against Kyle.
I
was going to say that is that I think one of the things that I learned from the Kansas Notre Dame game today was, Notre Dame had a lot of trouble with Flory in a way that I don't think we are. I am ready to back William Kyle against anybody in the fucking nation, dude. I am now so high on him. The way that he not only responds to physicality, because it's not responding, he sets a physical tone for this team that matters. And I think that is incredible from him. So again, I think we would have taken hands down close loss versus Houston. Now we've got to go get a win versus Kansas. And I think we're both in agreement that if that's the way that this tournament had set up, and if we leave these two games with an overtime loss to Houston and we can go get a win tomorrow versus Kansas, again, a Kansas team who's not going to have guards anywhere near Sharp or Uzan. I mean, those guys were incredible tonight. And personally, Sharp is like one of my favorite college basketball players ever. He's incredible. And Kansas is not going to have anything near him in terms of toughness, in terms of shot making, in terms of ability to get to the free throw line. So if we can win tomorrow, I think it sets us up perfectly. We'll get a third game in the Players era, and depending on who we play, leaving the Players era 2-1, I think always for us would have been best case scenario. Would you agree?
Yes, that's pretty much as good as this could go.
2-1 with an overtime loss to Houston, that's as good as we could have hoped for.
You got to be pumped about that. I mean, that basically is just showing you can play with anybody in the country if that's the case. And then you get to go home and play Tennessee. Quite the reward, to be honest with you. But we anticipate this has been quite a good tune-up for that game. in my opinion, man. And just a quick note on Kansas here, though, just to kind of add a little bit of intrigue into this. In their 4 games since Peterson's gone out, they haven't shot above 35% in a single game from 3. They've only shot above 30% once. This is not a good shooting team, right? They're not going to make a high volume of 3-pointers. Even in the game they did shoot 35%, they only hit 8. Like, it's a team that's making between probably 4 to 8 3-pointers, most likely 5 to 7. It's a protect the paint game, right? Protect the paint game.
And I think I think that this is also just, we proved tonight our defense is legit, right? So here we go. Our defense has been legit. This is not a great offensive team. Can we beat them? I for sure think we can.
I think so as well.
I'll be putting it all down on Syracuse money line tomorrow night. Did it tonight, didn't work out. But do it again tomorrow. Fuck it. Plus 800. I was so close. I think that's a wrap for tonight's episode. Orange Nation, we love you. We want to keep hearing from you. We keep hearing a lot from a lot of guys on X, and we appreciate that. But let's be more positive. Let's get behind the guys. It's okay to be positive, right? It's okay to not be a miserable fan base that, wants to lose all the time. Let's be positive. Let's try to win one tomorrow, and then see if we can't win another one, and then go into Tennessee and show that we are a team that belongs in the NCAA tournament. Because I get the strong feeling after the start of this season that we are one of those teams.